So if you have a Raspberry Pi similar to this one right here, it's just lying around, well, now you can use that in order to inject PPPwn onto your PlayStation 4, which then you can use to load Goldhen for firmware version 11.0. So in this video today, I'm going to show you how you can go ahead and you can get started creating a Raspberry Pi image that will automatically jailbreak your PlayStation 4 on 11.0. So if you begin by pointing your browser over to this GitHub repo, you're going to want to simply come right over here to code, and then you're going to want to click on download zip file. Once you do that, the other tool that you will need is going to be the Raspberry Pi OS. And what we're going to grab is going to be the Raspberry Pi Imager. So go ahead and download that and get that installed. Okay, and so to begin with, once the Raspberry Pi Imager loads, the first thing we need to do is select a Raspberry Pi device. Now, here is a selection of all the different ones that you can pick from. In my instance, I'm using a Raspberry Pi 2 Model B, so I'm going to select that one. For the operating system, I'm going to select Other here, and I am going to select Raspberry Pi OS Lite 32-bit. And then for the storage, I'm going to select my SD card. And now I'm going to press Next here. And then it's going to ask, would you like to apply OS customization settings? We are going to say yes on that. And the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a check mark right here in set hostname. We're going to go ahead and set a username and a password. And then underneath services here, we need to enable SSH. And we're just going to use password authentication. And then for the rest of the options here, we're just going to take a check mark out of enable telemetry because we want to be a little bit private here. We're also going to remove that eject media and then press save. And we are going to go yes here. And we're going to select yes here. Okay, let that finish up. Okay, and I did let mine verify and it does look like everything's okay. So I'm just going to press continue on that. Now, if you go into Windows Explorer, you'll still just see this drive. And what you need to do is you need to remove it from your computer, like I just did right there. Then you need to plug it back in. And once you plug it back in, you will now see this folder right here, which is just called boot FS. Now, what you're going to want to do is to, again, go ahead and extract that package that we downloaded from GitHub, and you'll see there's a folder right here called PPPwn. What you need to do is you need to copy this full folder over into that directory. And so there we can see it went ahead, it copied over successfully. Now, the other thing that you will need to do is to obviously take this goldhen.bin file and then put that on a USB drive if this is your very first time running this exploit. Again, if you've already ran Goldhen before, you don't have to put in the USB drive because Goldhen is already stored on your PlayStation 4. So let's go ahead now and let's remove our SD card and plug it into our Raspberry Pi. Now, what we really need to do is we need to SSH into the machine. So what I would recommend is to use something like PuTTY, which I already have installed on my machine. This absolutely is not a requirement, which is why I didn't put it in the beginning. But if you do want to use PuTTY, which is what I'm using, just go ahead and go to this page, and then you're going to want to download and install it, and then jump back to the video. Okay, so once you launch PuTTY, you will see a screen just like this. You will just simply need to add in the host name. Again, by following this guide, it's just going to be raspberrypi.local, so you don't have to go out and try to figure out what's the IP address of your Raspberry Pi. Once you have that, go ahead and press the open button here. And from here, you're going to want to log in with the credentials that, again, we specified when we first set this up. Okay, so great. I am logged into the system now. And if we take a look at the main project page, we need to run these two commands. So I'm going to take the first one and just copy it. And then I'm just going to paste that in there and press return. And now I'm going to select the second one here. We're going to copy it and we're going to come over here and we are going to paste it. Okay, so if you start seeing the output just like this right here, then that means that we are in great shape. So go ahead and let that finish. And once it is done, you're going to want to plug an Ethernet cable between your Raspberry Pi and again, your PlayStation 4. Also, don't forget to put the USB stick in there that has goldhen.bin on it. Okay, so here I am. I'm on my PlayStation 4 that is on 11.0. As you can see, there is all the padlocks and the games here. And then if I come back and we go to system information, I'm just setting on 11. Okay, so if you go ahead and you boot up your Raspberry Pi, you will see this screen right here, which shows the PPPwn being ran. So it says it is ready for a console connection. So let's go ahead and let's switch over to the PlayStation 4. Okay, so on the PlayStation 4, I just so happened to get very lucky and it actually worked on the first time and I didn't capture it. But as you can see right here, I was not in the test network connection settings. I simply rebooted my PlayStation 4 and I just let it go to the main menu. And then I plugged in my Raspberry Pi, connected the Ethernet cable directly to the PS4, and this magic just happened here. So as you can see up here at the top, we do have Goldhen running on this machine. Again, all of the items here are unlocked, which means that we can go ahead and we can run them. Now, there was a gotcha or two that I want to surface here. Now, when I originally ran this, my recommendation was to come right here, obviously select your device. And then for the choose OS, I was showing you that you could come right here and download the light version. One of the things that I did notice while testing this was sometimes it didn't actually run when I used this version of it. So what I did was I went back here and I just went ahead and I took this one right here. As you can see, it says cached on your computer. I just took the main operating system. Now, there's all kinds of reports of saying that Raspberry Pi 2 is super slow, but even with the desktop environment, I've still found it to be pretty speedy. Maybe I'm just getting lucky here, who knows? Obviously, it would be best if you use something like a Raspberry Pi 4 or maybe even a 5 that has a little bit more performance to it. But if you do use an older device, then it may take just a little bit longer in order to get jailbroken. Anyway, I hope you got something out of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Michael, out.